guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rise. We're back at it here at Walker Ford in Clearwater, Florida. And guess what? I have that one midsize truck people are yearning for. It's this vehicle right here. This is it. This is a 2025 Ford Ranger Raptor. But before we get into this steroid injected Ranger, let's talk about what's going on here. So we've waited, and finally Ford has delivered by bringing a Ranger Raptor into existence here in the United States. Now, what's amazing about this truck is not just the performance, but it comes at a time where some of the competition are really changing up their lineup. One of those vehicles would be, of course, the all-new Tacoma TRD Pro. Gone with the V6, now a 4-cylinder turbocharged hybrid setup. With this Ranger Raptor, one of the things you're still gonna find is a V6, and not just any V6, it's a twin turbocharged V6. So what I wanna find out is, at the end of the day, is this the performance truck of the year? And when you compare it to vehicles like the TRD Pro from Toyota with the Tacoma, like the Chevrolet Colorado ZR2 Bison, when you're looking at those trucks, is this the more affordable one? Let's go ahead, let's dive into this one and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, the color. Shelter green is the specific color for the Raptors. Gone is code orange. I do miss code orange. Let me know what you think about shelter green. Some days I like it, some days I don't. So, one of those things. At the front of the business, all Rangers get that redesigned look. Love the way they're doing that elongated C-shape headlight design, LED daytime running lamps. You got that double stack LED headlights, and they're performance LED. It tells you right there in the housing. Working your way down that shelter green, we got our flat black fender flare treatment, and we do have LED fog lamps and a functional air curtain, which is nice to see as well. But definitely, especially compared to the previous gen Ranger, the new Ranger across all the trims looks a lot better. And of course, when you go Ranger Raptor, that is the bad boy. Now you are gonna get stamped steel front bumper. And then as we come across that front grille, you have the Ford name spelled out, just like the bigger F-150 Raptor and Raptor R, forward-facing camera with the washer. One thing you're not gonna see are those 3 amber lights. And I know a lot of people call them Raptor lights, and people are like, where's the Raptor lights? Those are DOT, Department of Transportation, regulated lighting for trucks that are super wide. This truck is obviously not as wide as an F-150 Raptor, and that's why those lights are not there. They're not DOT required. And I guess you need to write your favorite Ford president, CEO, or whoever that you know at Ford, maybe your grandpappy's best friend that cheated on him with some other girl or something, I don't know. Write them and see if Ford will bring those amber lights. I don't think they're going to, but maybe you have more power than I do. Now, as you work your way down, you have that large, massive opening with the active aero shutters, and you can see our supersize intercooler. Like the way they brought some silver along the bottom. Of course, they re-sculpted this to give you a better approach and departure angle. You have over 10 inches of ground clearance, and this thing sits 1.4 inches higher than a regular Ranger. Of course, you're gonna have those black recovery tow hooks, pull out the Colorados, the Canyons, the Tacomas out of the mud. Knock, knock, who's there? Metal. You got metal skid plates underneath to protect the transfer case, the oil pan, the fuel tank, all those goodies. Like I said, transfer case, you got a 2-speed transfer case, of course 4x4, and you have special Fox Racing suspension. But let me know what you think about the face of the Ranger Raptor. I think it is the baddest of the mid-size trucks when it comes to looks. Now, as we rise up, clean on the hood, nothing too complicated, nice clean Ford truck lines, just like the bigger brother. When we come around the bend, what are we working with? wheel and tire setup. So these are the wheels that you get standard on a Ranger Raptor. And then you're gonna have your 33-inch BF Goodrich all-terrain TA KO3 tires. These things are gonna grapple through the rocks, through the stones. Maybe you're gonna do some Baja running. If you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of the wheel? It's a 17-inch wheel. Tires are 285 on the width, 70 series sidewall. And then I'm gonna have Steven kind of swing in to show you that upper control arm, your springs, and like I said, those Fox shock absorbers, all four corners. But I'm digging the flat gunmetal gray finish with the green. It really works well. Now, as we rise up, like I said, you got that fender flare. We do have heat extractors on the hood, flat black. They are functional, and we have a functional side fender vent. Color match shelter green on the mirror caps, turn signals, 360-degree cameras. You have these Ranger Raptor specific running boards. It's nice to have this, it just looks ugly. This is that key code press pad where, say if you're gonna go put the jet skis in the water and you don't wanna bring your keys with you because if you get them wet, you're gonna have a bad day. Well, what you could do is you come up with your special code, 1234. I know that's probably one of the most popular codes out there. You can lock the keys in the car and not have them on you so that when you fall in the water, Jaws might get you, but water's not gonna get your key fob. Something to think about. Gotta zonk that antenna. I'm so sick of that antenna up there. Why they can't just use the shark fin is beyond me. Of course, you're gonna have that four-door versatility. Coming towards the rear, I like the simple, just Raptor badge on the side of the bed. And then Steven's gonna swing in and show you that steel box frame that we got. And then working our way towards the rear of the truck, all new LED taillights, of course. You got the Ranger, there was a bug on me, Ranger name stamped in the tailgate, the Raptor badge, so people know not to mess with you. And then as we work our way down, you're gonna have your full tow capability. Love the dual outlet exhaust with the stainless steel tips. It is an active exhaust, so we can make it louder or quieter, depending on how many people you wanna piss off on any particular day. Usually I try to go for my max. I try to piss off at least 60 people. Underneath, you'll notice how high they have the spare mounted. You can't even see it from the back of the truck. That's gonna give you a better departure angle. You do have a locking front diff and a rear locking diff. So this thing does the business when it comes to off-roading. And then of course, that nice soft release. You do have your bed liner in there. We got our tie down locations, LED lighting, and on the driver's side, you do have a home power source that's really nice. So you can make yourself your protein shake after you go off-roading. I know that's important for Steven to have that protein shake. But while we go ahead, let's get to the other big point of this Ranger Raptor. Let's get underneath the hood and talk about horsepower. All right guys, we got the hood popped. You do have a prop rod. I am gonna zonk that. This should have hood struts, and yes, the Ranger Raptor is a Ford performance vehicle. Look at that. There's a mess of hoses, tubes, and wires, but trust me, wait until you hear the horsepower. You're gonna forget all about that. It would be nice though if there was an engine cover. I mean, come on. What is that, an extra $1 per truck for Ford if they did that? But you're looking at a 3-liter twin turbo V6, 405 horsepower, 430 pound-feet of torque. It's bolted to a 10-speed automatic, 0 to 60 in about 5.5 seconds, quarter mile in 14.1 seconds at 99 miles per hour. The truck weighs 5,325 pounds. If you're really worried about towing, this might bother you. The Ranger Raptor actually has a lower tow rating capacity than the standard Ranger. You're looking at 5,500 pounds. It's actually 5,510 pounds compared to over 7,000 pounds. Payload, 1,411 pounds. MPGs, I hope you don't really care. 16 in the city, 18 on the highway. And like I said, we have 10.7 inches of ground clearance. But why don't we go ahead? I know it's a mess underneath there, but I promise you, I think you're gonna like the sound of this Ranger Raptor. So why don't we go ahead, let's fire it up and actually hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this Shelter Green 2025 Ranger Raptor. I know I mentioned at the start of this video talking about affordability. I'm talking about affordability comparing apples to apples. I'm not comparing a price of a Ranger Raptor to a base Nissan Frontier. Yes, I know the Nissan Frontier is going to be more affordable. Talk about the performance version of trucks like the Tacoma, Canyon, Colorado, so on and so forth. So with that being said, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, I need a mid-sized truck. I think that the Ranger Raptor is going to be out of my price range because I saw the price of the Tacoma TRD Pro. They want $67,000. How much is this Ranger Raptor? Get ready for this. 58 grand. So when you think about it, it's almost 10 grand cheaper to go this route than a Tacoma TRD Pro. Like, what? But let's see what Ford is bringing, specifically Ford performance, to this Ranger Raptor. To the door panels, love the style. You have this Alcantara material up top, a little bit of smoky gray, kind of honeycomb finish there. And then on the armrest, you have soft touch material, no gloss black anywhere, a door pocket large enough for, I would say, 4 peanut butter and jellies and a large bottle of Yoo-Hoo to wash it down. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, love the Alcantara. Would have been nice if they did the code orange stitching to match the orange around the AC vents. You got your Baker's Dozen Ford Performance Twinkie tray. Plus, this is where you could store some extra goodies. Maybe a bag of Lay's, one of those small bag of Lay's, maybe some Cheetos, maybe some Doritos, some Fritos, Frito Bandito. Slide on in. You're going to get that vertical style infotainment system, 10.3 inch. Love the way it's integrated into the dash, even though I'm not a big fan of the portrait vertical style. Of course, it's all touchscreen, which is wonderful because you do also get buttons and knobs. So to get into your different functions and features, you know, we could go into trailering if you're going to trailer things. You could get into all your different options when it comes to driver assistance. How about cameras? You like cameras? Good resolution out the front. You got your 360. I mean, it's panoramic. They got more freaking cameras than what I used to sell at Circuit City back when I was in college. And then we're basically right back. I'm going to get there sooner or later. Yes, this is where we started. Like I said, the nice thing is you have real temperature controls, dual climate, real volume knob for the tunes, wireless charging, USB-C, USB-A, and a place where you could put 4 boxes of Tic Tacs. You got your small Slim Jim holder, especially if you're off-roading, you need the protein. You have your shifter for your 10-speed automatic, like the, see, here's where they did the code orange stitching. Why didn't they do this throughout the whole interior? 2 cup holders. Love the Raptor key fob, so you get to feel special. And you can do your remote start. You got your drive mode selector, your 4x4 setup, and then you also got things like shutting off that pesky auto start stop feature. Soft touch. Would have been nice to have the orange stitching. Open it up. You got plenty of room in here. You got a freaking 12 volt, and I would say you could stack up about 8 VHS tapes. That's one thing that my sister Nicole is doing. She's going through our family collection of VHS tapes from Christmas and birthdays and all those things, and she's converting it to DVD so that those memories last forever. And then, of course, you got a nice little coin tray, little trinket. I know Steven, when he goes to different places around the country, he likes to collect pins and bottle openers, things like that. Little patches. That's where he could keep all his little travel trinkets. And then the seats, performance oriented, the soft touch, the stitching, the Raptor name. Look at the freaking bolstering. Yes, you do have electric assist for the passenger, electric assist for the driver. I personally don't care, but there is no sunroof in this one. I guess sometimes you just got to take it as it comes. but you got a lot of auxiliary switches. And I like the way it's like you're in a jet plane and you're like, fire the missiles, arm the guns, all that kind of stuff. So you could get a winch, you could get a train horn. Steven likes it when I blow the train horn right in his ear. Get all sorts of lights and have it all hooked up to your auxiliary switches. But why don't you get your booty over here? I want to show you behind the Raptor specific wheel in this Ranger Raptor. All right, guys, come on in. You do have 3 memory seat settings for the driver's seat, and you do have that nice sill plate, the Ford Performance badge. The one thing that's a zonk is, where's my aluminum pedals? Come on. Especially that dead pedal looks so sad, but we got to keep it in perspective because remember, this is $10,000 cheaper than the Tacoma TRD Pro. You got your power seat controls, easy to get to. Love the seats. They're comfy, they're supportive, they look great, they feel good, and they're gonna make you feel good. I'm 6 feet tall, lots of headroom, steering wheel, love it. The leather perforated smooth, you got your 12 o'clock bright code orange band up top, the Raptor name embossed. The one thing that just kills it is the horn button. Couldn't they have done something a little bit nicer? Maybe get rid of the Ford badge and just put Raptor up here or something? I don't know. Ford Performance. I do love the metal paddles though to go up and down the 10 speed. And then you have that 12.3 inch digital gauge cluster where you can scroll through your modes. It's like playing a freaking video game. Look at this. Look at that. It's like Gran Turismo 47 Off-Road Edition. But love the way you have all the different modes. Plus, you have your Raptor screen, which you could set up your modes, all your different preferences. You could open up that exhaust. Baja, baby. That's nice and loud. The one thing it doesn't have is a head-up display, but I'm okay with that. Let's, though, get into the back seat and see if your passengers are going to be happy that you went with the Ranger Raptor. All right, guys, back seat time, and I do like the way they brought the code orange and the nice seat material to the rear seats. You got that soft touch. Large pockets, you could easily put, I would say, 6 honey buns in there. And then, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is this special Ford Performance McBurger holder. So this is specifically designed to take a regular McDonald's hamburger or cheeseburger and you just slide it in. That's why they call it the McBurger holder. USB-C, USB-A, and a home power source. And then I think one of the nicest things is that you get more room in this freaking Ranger than you do the Tacoma. Like the headroom, the seats are kind of angled back a little bit to feel a little bit better. Ooh, and soft touch with the 2 cup holders. But why don't we go ahead, if you're ready, I'm definitely ready. Let's go for a spin and see how on throttle feels in this twin turbocharged Ranger Raptor. All right, guys, we are leaving Walker Ford. We're inside this 2025 Shelter Green Ranger Raptor. And right away, I just love the seating position. The seats are comfortable, short reach to the infotainment system. And you just feel like you're in this badass machine because you are. Now, it does have a manual tilting and telescoping wheel, which I'm okay with. And the fact that you can configure the digital gauge cluster so many different ways just really allows you to have exactly the information, what you want, when you need it. I have it in sport mode, and I have the exhaust in Baja, which is the loudest setting. The materials feel really good in here. You know, I prefer to have the screen integrated. And yes, the screen in the Tacoma TRD Pro is a little bit larger. But at the end of the day, I'm just getting sick and tired of these super-sized screens. It's just getting out of control. But seats, comfy, supportive. They got nice lateral grip. But you could daily drive this truck with no problem. The seats are not vice grips, I promise you. Visibility is great out the windshield. Out the back, it looks great. On throttle, here we go. That twin turbo V6 power with that great sounding exhaust. Something you're not gonna get in your Tacoma. Remember, the Canyon and the Colorado both have 4-cylinder turbocharged engines. So you're not gonna definitely get that sound either out of either or the GMC or the Chevy. Brakes feel good. You got those 33-inch tires. And the 10-speed automatic does a great job of shifting. Remember, all the other trucks I just mentioned, they all have 8 speeds. This truck has the 10-speed automatic, and it's geared nicely for the 3-liter EcoBoost engine, that twin-turbo V6. But having plenty of storage, having the technology you need, the wireless charging, and the amazing look just checks off all the boxes. All right, guys, you ready? On throttle! Of course, with that Fox Racing suspension, you're gonna have plenty of wheel travel, whether it's up or down, left or right, everything is nice and stable. And with the 10.7 inches of ground clearance and the better approach and departure angles, it's really gonna allow you to go further than any other Ranger before this, that's for sure. There is a little bit of wind noise, and of course you're getting road noise from those 33-inch BF Goodrich KO3 tires, but it's nothing out of the extraordinary. It's to be expected, and if you're thinking you're gonna have a quiet ride in one of these, you're greatly mistaken. Love the downshifts though from the 10-speed, nice and smooth, keeps the chassis stable. But it's unbelievable just how much technology and engineering they put into this Ranger Raptor that you would in the past only find in a Baja off-road race truck. Having it in this midsize is really flexing. That's Ford Performance flexing their muscle, basically. Are you ready? We're gonna go on throttle. On throttle! Love the unique sound. You're not getting a bunch of sound pumped in through the speakers and stuff, which this does, remember, have the B&O sound system. But even in the Baja mode, it's not too boomy or loud when you're driving down the highway like we are right now, doing 60 miles an hour. It's actually quite subdued. But when you get on it, that's when you hear it. But I'm hoping that this has been a good, quick overall review of this Ranger Raptor. We're gonna get back to Walker Ford and wrap it up, so I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day here at Walker Ford. Definitely gotta thank Frank Walker, Western Walker, Tracy, the rest of the crew getting us access to this shelter green Ranger Raptor. You heard the price, you heard the performance. Is this the truck of the year? And is it more affordable than a Tacoma TRD Pro, a Colorado ZR2 Bison, or that Canyon AT4X? Let me know in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rides family. Got to give it up to Stephen Flood. He's drinking his protein shakes. He's really laying down the weights and building the mass, because that's what he is about, pure muscle power. So thank you, Stephen, for being ripped. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.